Well, families are hurting, and we understand the economy is struggling right now, and we need to be doing something about that. But this particular bill was not a solution. It probably would have created more problems, and I believe that it's kind of like somebody who goes on a diet and you have a salad for your main meal and then turn around and eat a triple layer cake with ice cream. I think this particular bill is probably going to do more harm than good. While there's some good things in it, I think that when you weigh it out, it's not something that's going to, in the long term, help us. I think what we're going to be doing here is creating some short-term stimulus, and with the long-term spending that's in the bill, wind up hurting our families long-term and going to be hanging the bill for this around our children and grandchildren's neck. And I felt it was the wrong thing to do. Over the course of the weeks that I've been going back and forth between D.C. and the district, my folks in the district indicated to me that this was not what they wanted to see. For instance, I had one small business owner who took the time to visit with me about this program, and he said, you know, if there's some things in there that can help me, so be it, but I want you to vote for what's best for the country, because at the end of the day, that's what's important. So that's what we did. We looked for the good in the bill. We found some. We looked at the other parts of the bill and found that it was not worthy of support, so we voted against it.
On your website, you talk about lowering individual taxes instead of a refundable credit. Is that one of the areas you think they could have done better with?
Yeah, I think you know, the tax cuts portion of the bill, as well as the infrastructure stimulus portion of the bill, are things that we could have supported. You know, there was an amendment on the floor of the House that would have taken out the pork, which would have been, you know, would have left the balance of the bill to be something that we probably could have supported. But that particular amendment was defeated. We had an alternative bill on the floor that would have actually created twice as many jobs at half the cost. That was something I supported as well. So there's better ways of doing this than what this bill is doing, and can do a better job of doing it. So at the end of the day, I think you have to look at what's best long-term, not just short-term, but long-term as well, for the good of our country. When the actual cost of this bill, when you include the interest in the bill as well as the increased funding for the programs that are established, as well as existing funding levels that are going to be attained by this bill, you wind up with a $3 trillion cost to this bill, that's out of line. It's not necessary when you look at what we're trying to do here is stimulate jobs, not put pork out into our economy.
Your former colleagues in Jefferson City and the state legislature are gobbling up the stimulus coming to Missouri. Are they misguided?
No, they're just doing the job of spending the portion of the bill here that is going to help stimulate the economy. My concern is not that part of it. I support that part of it. I'm going to try and help my friends in the legislature and the governor there in Missouri all I can to make sure that we get those dollars into Missouri, into the proper hands, and we can stimulate and do the things we need to do with those dollars. My concern is that the balance of the bill, which is almost half of it, is spending that's out of control. A lot of it's going to be on top of the stimulus of the omnibus bill we're going to vote on tomorrow, which is going to again add some more programs and some more spending that is not necessary, we can't afford, and is going to undercut the stimulative effect of the very parts of this bill that are good.
Is there anything the president can say tonight that would reassure you about this plan?
Well, you know, one of the things that he can do to reassure us is that he's going to start getting serious about tax cuts. To me, one of the important things is small business and farmers. Right now, we have a situation with the stimulus part of this bill had some tax cuts in it, but it was minimal. Actually, 0.4% is all that's going to help small business. My fear is that his plan this evening, some of the preliminary things that I've seen, especially in the omnibus bill later on, some of the things we're going to do is raise taxes. We're going to increase taxes on small business and farmers in a couple of different ways, and to me that's very concerning, because those are the very folks that create the jobs, the ones that stimulate our economy, and they're the ones we should be helping. I think these increased taxes are going to be hurting them, and that's just the opposite of what we need to be doing.
Finally, you are stepping into office in a very different world than your predecessors. Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, you're using many of these tools. Tell me how it's changing the job of a congressman.
Well, obviously, there's a generation out there that communicates completely different than what I did when I was their age. And as a result, that's the group that is going to take control of this economy and the society very shortly, if not already. And we have to be able to communicate with those folks. And this is the way that they like to communicate, so this is the way we have to do it. It's something new to me. My children and a lot of my younger friends are out there encouraging me to participate in this. But it's a great learning experience for me from the personal standpoint. But from the standpoint of being able to work with our constituents and inform our constituents. These are new ways of communicating that are there. They're communicating like this every day, and we have to be a part of that as well.
And you'll probably get more feedback than ever before.
Well, I hope so. I'm excited about these new things because I think it brings this office into the 21st century. Not that my predecessor didn't, but it's just things are moving at a fast pace, and these are some opportunities that we see to bring this office and our services. At the end of the day, we need to make this office as accessible as possible. People need to be as involved and interactive with us as possible, and these are tools that allow us to do that. I'm a little reluctant to go the Twitter route yet, but I've got one of my colleagues here in Congress that does it regularly, but I'm not quite that far. But we've had very good results and are excited about the things that are happening with our Facebook, YouTube, and other internet websites and all of those other tools that we're using to communicate with folks these days.